Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council in regular session. It is Monday, March 6th, 2023, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Reed.
Here.
Councilor Hessman.
Here.
Councilor Kohler.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Council President Starr.
Here.
Councilor Duran.
Here.
Councilor Cross.
Here.
And Youth Councilor Sarmiento.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. If you are able, I would ask you to rise and all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Glad to see everybody here on this not icy evening. It's quite pleasant out, actually. And it is also my pleasure this meeting that we are going to lead off with a special orders of business, which is the proclamation for Women's History Month. And I am delighted to not only invite my fellow city councilors and our youth councilor, but also the leadership we have here from the Keizer Fire District, neighborhood associations, and the chamber to all join me after I read this proclamation to receive this and to recognize that the leadership of women in this community has been very significant from the beginning, and we are going to not just be history, we are going to continue to make history. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas in the human experience of civilization, exploration, invention, and governance, men and women have worked together, yet, as noted by President Jimmy Carter, quote, too often the women were unsung and sometimes their contributions went unnoticed. But the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of the women who built America was as vital as that of the men whose names we know so well, end quote. And whereas the United Nations has sponsored International Women's Day since 1975, when adopting its resolution on the observance of International Women's Day, the United Nations General Assembly cited the following reasons. Quote, to recognize the fact that securing peace and social progress and the full enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms require the active participation, equality, and development of women, and to acknowledge the contribution of women to the strengthening of international peace and security, end quote. And whereas the 2023 theme is Embrace Equity, to recognize that people start from different places, that equal opportunities alone are not enough to achieve true inclusion and belonging. And we all can challenge gender stereotypes, call out discrimination, draw attention to bias, and seek out inclusion. And whereas recognition, celebration, and inspiration of women's achievements promote the health, well-being, and success of women and girls worldwide. And whereas the City of Keizer recognizes that celebration of Women's History Month is part of our values, treating all people with dignity and respect. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Clark, Mayor of the City of Keizer, here with the Keizer City Council assembled in regular session, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as Women's History Month and encourage all the people of Keizer to celebrate, honor, and promote the achievements of girls and women in our community, state, nation, and the world. Thank you very much, and I would invite at this time the women in the audience, all of you, our leaders in our community, I'm looking at every single one of you who is making a difference, to join me in front of the dais, and for the women of City Council and our youth counselor to join me, and Ms. Davis.
Looking for a motion.
Yes, please. And our official photographer will line us up appropriately for a great picture. Official photographers here, 3.
Tallest in the middle.
I'm wearing sweats. I'm gonna die. No, I didn't have time. I got screwed with my tire.
Okay, and okay, you gotta come forward. You gotta just want you like next to come so we What do you think? How we doing?
Okay, this is the only place you should be looking. We don't want anyone looking out this way or having closed eyes. We'll take a couple photos.
Any other adjustments?
Nope. Yay, women.
All right, now everybody just say, okay, smile, act like you want to be here. Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Thank you all very much, and we're looking forward to all the history we will continue to make together as a community in this month and the year ahead. And I think I left my glasses on the table. I sure did. Thank you, Gwen. We need friends. Okay, thank you so much. For committee reports this evening, Michael DeBlasi for, I'm going to say, traffic safety bike ped. Nailed it. Good to see you.
Good to see you all.
I'd say Keizer's doing pretty good for women's representation on our council here.
Yes, indeed.
Madam Mayor, City Councilor, staff, I'm here to give the update on the latest Traffic Safety, Bikeways, and Pedestrian Committee. Before I start, I do want to say how it's been great that people are really coming out to our meetings. We had Southeast Keizer, West Keizer, Northeast Keizer, and I think that might have been it. So we're getting the neighborhood associations coming out and telling us what's going on. And in that vein, Rhonda Rich was there from the West Keizer neighborhood, and she said that she wanted to share her input on improvements for our neighborhood traffic management plan. And some of you may know that that's what we're working on. It's a plan for neighborhoods to come, or neighbors to come to the committee and say, hey, we think we have a speeding problem. We'd like the city to investigate and see if there's anything to do. And so as a committee, we have a subcommittee that's working on trying to make it a little easier for people to go through the process. We've talked a bit about the roundabout and on Verda and Chamala, and there's concern about safety, about people who are walking there, and then with the Keizer Road exit off of there just before the roundabout, there's a little bit of a safety issue some people feel, especially for pedestrians. Let's see, Ken Gerloff from Southeast Keizer came and talked about the Alder Brooks crosswalk. There's no crossing guards there right now. With the school district, hasn't, I guess, filled that position again. So there's just concerns about kids crossing in the morning and the evening. One good note, so we put some flashing speed limit signs on Shoreline, and Carol Dorfler was there, and she mentioned how she's noticed that the speeds are slower, and she didn't realize what it was at first until she saw the flashing sign. So good on that. We had two guests, Mike Jaffe with Council of Governments, and he was mentioning that there's going to be a Metropolitan Safety Action Planning project, and it's a year-long process that will study crash information. And there's going to be a virtual open house between March 13th and April 6th, and urges everyone to participate. And we had Jenna Berman from ODOT. She's with the Active Transportation Program, and she just was telling us about the program, what they can provide for us for information, assistance with grant applications. She mentioned that in the past we had been working with them on wayfinding signs for the parkway, and it didn't go anywhere at that time, but The grant doesn't require a match, so that is something we could work on with, hopefully with the Public Works Director. And she also said that ODOT would pay for the initial cost, but Keizer would be responsible for maintenance. And she also mentioned that there's going to be a study for bike ped improvements in Salem, and then she encouraged the committee to participate. I can't remember if she mentioned if it was just Salem or if it was a Salem-Keizer thing.
Scats.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, we're in.
Great. And that's pretty much it. You know, Hirsch is going to be attending an ODOT traffic safety seminar next week. We'll have a bike skills event on June 10th. And we're also trying to do some more work with the immigrant groups who are here and trying to teach them how to ride bikes. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, on the traffic safety plan, that is regional, and Tammy Coons is representing the city of Keizer.
Okay.
So super excited that she is on that committee. It's going to bring some tremendous expertise in that
Yeah.
area.
Thank you.
Any questions? All good?
All right,
All right,
thanks.
thank you very much. Thank you. Much appreciated. I do have a follow-up question that is for Mr. Lawyer. The discussion about the roundabout and the pedestrian crossing near, I think it's Keizer Street, is that correct? The one that goes up toward Kennedy Elementary. With the new apartments going in, are we going to be looking at crosswalks or anything down by May or near the apartments?
There's no plan to place crosswalks there at the apartments. There's no stop sign included. The apartment residents will have to stop entering Verda, but no additional crosswalks crossing Verda. We have one at Dearborn, of course, one at Shamawa. I understand the concerns about the Keizer Road intersection. We talked about that during the design of the roundabout. Excuse me, and given the geometry necessary for the roundabout and just the space available to work with, that's the best design we could come up with for that intersection.
Was the location of that partly driven by the placement of the bus stop?
No, not really. It was more, the roundabout location was more driven by property acquisition needs and alignment of Shamawa coming from the freeway. We looked at trying to move the roundabout north a little bit, but that made that corner even tighter than it is. And so that was quickly decided that was not good alignment. And so we shifted it to the south a little bit and had to actually make the trade-off of the sharp corner coming into Keizer on Shamawa Road versus the close proximity of Keizer Road to the roundabout.
Right. So as the apartments become, go to completion and become rented out, we'll be looking at maybe some alternatives or work with the school on safe routes to school, maybe some options there for especially kids getting to the school across. I think May is the better road because it's got less traffic, but that's just my humble opinion. I don't live in the neighborhood.
They do have a crossing guard, or they have had a crossing guard at Dearborn and Verda for many years.
Okay.
And so I would encourage the students, although it's a little bit out of the way, to go down to Dearborn, use the crosswalk, and then up to the school from there.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else here for a committee report? Okay, then we will go to public comment. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have one public hearing scheduled for this evening, and that is the 2023 liquor license renewals. So if you're here for that, stand by. And I have two people signed up, and we'll start off with our library update from the one and only Barbara Miner.
Hello, I'm Barbara Miner. I'm the president of the board of directors of the Keizer Community Library. And I'd like to thank you for the meeting last week with a strategic plan. I found it very interesting. I'm new to Keizer. There was a lot of history there. Obviously, Keizer's growing and it's going to change. And when that happens, we want to make sure that we nurture the things that are still important to the community that strengthen it. One of which happens to be your community library. So I'm here to talk about kids cards today. We have special cards for kids. They have a frog on them. And any child can have this card if they have a parent with an email address. And it's our favorite thing to give them out. We have over 300 active kids cards in Keizer. And when we present them with the card, it's a little ceremony. And we look straight at them and says, this is your library now. And we have books that you want to read. And they believe us. And it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy because when kids mention books that we don't have that they would like to read, we take good notes, and the volunteer library fairies make those books appear on the shelf in good short order. Occasionally, we bring in the newspaper ad or put up signs in our library. But the people in Keizer who want to buy books that kids want to read is a quite astonishing number. So we have more than 300 kids cards, and that number 300 is important in the library to us because in pre-COVID times, and I wasn't here then, but for several years in a row, that was the number of active card holders in Keizer Community Library. They paid every year for their card, and there was about 300. And then we had the great restructuring and the library remodeling, and cards became free. All of those things happened at the same time. We now have 300 kids cards and 1,100 active adult cards in our community library. So like Keizer, we're growing.
Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much, and check out the hours on the website for hours of opening, and donations always gladly accepted for the next book sale. Do we have a date for that, by the way?
May 18th.
May 18th will be the next book sale, so if you are thinking ahead to spring and summer, mark your calendars for that. That's a Thursday.
Oh, then it's May 19th and 20th.
19 and 20, okay. Book sale. I'm already cleaning my stuff out and getting ready for the new ones, so I'm right up there with everybody. All right. Corey Filardo, let's talk about the chamber. So much going on. Oh, and are you going to lead off with that great honor?
I can. I was going to save that for last, but I can
Okay,
do
but
that first.
whatever order you would like to go in, I'll leave
Okay.
it to you.
I'm Corey Filardo, Executive Director at the Keizer Chamber of Commerce. I also live in Keizer. So I wanted to start off first by sharing a little bit about our business education courses that we're starting this month with WorkSource Oregon. They start this week, March 9th. They'll be held at the View Restaurant at McNary Golf Course. It's a free 2-week course about recruitment strategies for business owners and HR reps for your business. They're going to share about how to write an enticing job description, setting starting wage for your business, and then they're going to provide lots of great resources to keep your employees engaged and happy at your job. So we encourage all business owners in Keizer to register at the Keizer Chamber website, and it's just keizerchamber.com. And head over to the events tab and get registered. It's free for anybody who would like to attend. We're really looking forward to seeing everybody out there to come and learn and know that WorkSource Oregon is free for businesses to use, and we're looking forward for that partnership to be fantastic. And secondly, I am going to share with a really great honor that the Keizer Chamber and the City of Keizer was bestowed last Friday. Myself, Dave Wallery, Bob Shackelford, Jonathan Thompson, Marcia Stallings, and Mike Adams and his wife, Katrina Adams, went over to Seaside for the Oregon Festivals and Events Association banquet. They have this big event that they bring a bunch of festival folks over that hold festivals in Oregon, and they give some trainings and some awards and whatnot. And I thought it would be fun, along with Mike Adams, to apply Keizer Fest to the Shapeshifter Award. I'm just going to pull it up really quick so I can tell you the right thing. With the Ovation Awards, we applied for the Shapeshifter Award, which was, our event was thrown a curveball. The category is for the innovation ideas to renew, reimagine, rework, or adapt the event. They were looking for creative execution and non-carbon copy approaches. So with the partnership with the community, the city of Keizer, the Keizer Chamber, and every volunteer that came out, we were able to move Keizer Fest out to the Keizer Rapids Park, and we were bestowed the Shapeshifter Award for the state of Oregon with the Ovation Awards from the Oregon Festivals and Events Association. So it was a huge honor, and we were so happy to share that with the city of Keizer. Dave Wallery and Bob Shackelford were super excited to be able to accept that, and it was not without you guys that we would be able to get that award. So we are so grateful for the partnership, and we look forward to this year coming up and all the things we have to do to get ready for that. So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Well, right back at you. I think it's super great that we have such an awesome space to hold such a traditional, fantastic event, and we are going bigger and better this year. And for me, it's always go big or go home. So I think that's going to just be the trajectory of this event from this day forward. But we're just super excited and couldn't be more honored to have the support. And other winners in this event were like the Hair Festival in Aurora and the Big Rogue Valley Beer and Wine Festival down in Medford. So there's some really big events that also won awards, and Keizer Fest won too. Woohoo!
Woo-hoo. Yes. Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You shouldn't have to plant any more grass this year. I think of all the things that had to happen and fall into place to make that event happen this year at Keizer Rapids, and it was amazing. It was a miracle in many, many ways. So thank you for all your hard work.
That was a lot of work. That was,
Absolutely. And it's, like I said, if it wasn't for all those that showed up in the heat and laid the piping for the water and the grass seed and the posts and
Electricity.
everything, if it wasn't for all the people that showed up and gave back and stayed late and dealt with my crazy, then, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
It's exciting to see this, was a shape shift. It was a reimagining, going from a very, very constrained space that was really, really difficult to map out and make work to, you got not just elbow room, everybody's got wingspan room out there. And wasn't it the largest number of vendors, I think, ever for Keizer Fest?
Yep, we had 2 vendors, and we're hoping to have more this year, and a larger carnival space as well, and more opportunities for every person can come and enjoy a ride or two. So we're really looking forward to utilizing all the space that we can in really great imaginative ways.
Fantastic. So everybody mark your calendars for the second weekend in August. Going to have a great time. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Any other questions for Ms. Velardo? Council President Starr.
Percy date? Oh, absolutely. I'd love to share that. We're having our annual Percy auction, which is an auction for ladies to raise money for our holiday giving program, and that will be May 25th at right here next door in the Civic Center, from 5:30 to about 9:30. And our theme is Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and our premier sponsor is Boucher's Jeweler.
course.
So if you would love to come out and support, our tickets are on sale at the Keizer Chamber website. You can purchase a whole table and bring 7 of your closest friends. And we also love to support our teachers and staff, admin, and anybody who supports the school to come out and represent the school. So if you are a supporter of the school or work at a school and want to get a table group together, we will be reaching out to the schools to orchestrate that for you.
Got that message today.
Yay!
Excellent. So it's getting out there. There was your test case. It worked. All right, and really encourage people to, like you said, this is the big one for the giving baskets. And remind us how many families were served this last year?
We served 283 families this last year. Wow. We gave out 300 food boxes because some of the families were so large, and we want to make sure everybody has enough food. And I think that's the heart of the No group, is to make sure the families are fed. So we were blessed with the food, and we were able to get it out.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Great to be a part of. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. That is everybody I signed up for public comment this evening. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council during public comment? All right. We will then proceed to public hearings. I'm going to open a public hearing for the 2023 liquor license renewals. And this goes to Mr. Johnson. Is this yours? Nope.
I'm assuming it's mine.
It's to you. Okay. Ms. Davis. Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Each year, the OLCC requests the cities make a recommendation on the renewal of the liquor license establishments in Keizer. We have about 70 of them in Keizer. And our ordinance establishes the criteria to be considered when we make our recommendations. The review process ensures that all premises licensed to sell and dispense liquor in Keizer meet the high expectations of this community, and all the businesses are conducted in a lawful manner. And so the Keizer Police Department does a review for the calls of service during the year, and they have found a reason to recommend denial of any of the establishments. And the Keizer Planning Department had an opportunity to comment on any zoning issues, and there was no comment there. So our recommendation is that you open the public hearing, receive any testimony, close the hearing, and make a recommendation to recommend approval of the licenses.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report or the liquor license renewals? Okay. Has anybody signed up for public testimony? And if you have not signed up, you are still welcome to address the council during this time. Nobody has signed up for public testimony, so I would invite anyone here who would like to address the council on this matter to let me know and come on down to the microphone. Okay, I am not seeing anyone who would like to offer any public testimony on this issue. Are there any other questions or any additional information for city council members? All right, seeing none, close the public hearing. Council President Starr. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
No, you hit the gavel, Madam Mayor.
I mean, you can, do you have a question?
Not a question, more of a general comment.
Okay, so on the motion that we're going to make? Or the concept in general?
Concept in general, but you hit the gavel before I spoke, so I'm happy to yield the floor.
No, go ahead. Councilor Husband, I want to give you the opportunity. You had a question, a comment, or a question? Okay, all right. Council President Starr. Sorry, I didn't see you.
I move the City Council recommend the renewal of the listed liquor licenses of establishments located in the City of Keizer and forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council recommend the renewal of the listed liquor license of establishments located in the City of Keizer and forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. Comments, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. And for those who are watching or wonder what this is about, this is something we were doing individually for years, and many years ago, we decided to do this as a one and done each year for all liquor licenses and have it as one public hearing. And it has worked well, to my knowledge, up until this time. All right, going forward then, we will go to administrative action, and it is item 8A, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a personal services agreement with Buffalo Cloud Consulting LLC for consulting services, and this was brought forward from our last council meeting. Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor, City Council, at the February 21st meeting, the City Council advised that we move this agenda item to the March 6th meeting, which is tonight, to provide additional time for consideration. In light of the strategic planning process that kicked off last week, which will involve the CDE committee and the ongoing planning of the 40th birthday party celebration, staff is recommending that the City Council take no action tonight. That means that there'll be no need for a motion at all. Just let this one go, and we will address this at a later time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report or recommendation? All right, seeing none, we will go then to item 8B, excuse me, which is a resolution adopting eligible project to be used by city for funds received from county under intergovernmental agreement for Community Prosperity Initiative, repeal of Resolution R 2022-3281. Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor, City Council, previously, Marion County has very generously given us $15,000 a year for this year and for next year. Originally, we had planned to use that to try to incentivize businesses along River Road to put in a food cart pod. We submitted applications, advertised on Facebook and word of mouth and also through the Chamber of Commerce, and didn't receive any interest. At this point, given the timeline, we have to have the funds spent by the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. We are recommending that we repurpose the funds and put in food cart pods at Keizer Rapids Park near the amphitheater. With that, if there's any additional questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions? So this is something that we had discussed when we were discussing the opportunities for these funds, and had brought up the notion that one of the objectives was to create gathering spaces that were welcoming for people to be able to use our public park spaces. And we were hoping to do it through businesses in our core areas, if they were so desired. Parking is limited, space for our businesses is limited, and we do have some that have already established food pods. So this would not, if they wanted to expand, they could have done so. So we do have some food trucks already established on our businesses. And just for anybody listening, if a business wants to establish a location for a food truck to be on their property, we have a very simple process for a site plan, how many, where they're going to be, ensure that they are going to be complying with line of sight, proper sanitation setup, et cetera. And once they get their site plan approved, they're good to go. So I just want to give a little bit of background on that. Any questions on the staff report or the recommendation? Council President Starr.
I move the City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, adopting eligible project to be used by city for funds received from the county under intergovernmental agreement for Community Prosperity Initiative, and repeal of Resolution R 2022-3281.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, adopting eligible project to be used by city for funds received from county under intergovernmental agreement for Community Prosperity Initiative, repeal of Resolution R 2022-3281. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no.
No.
Hearing one objection from Councilor Houseman, motion passes 6-1. All right, we will move then to the consent calendar. And Councilor Starr, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Consent calendar item A, resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into lease agreement with Pitney Bowes for Keizer Police Department postage meter. Item B, resolution authorizing the city manager to award and enter into an agreement with Pacific Excavation, Inc. for upgrades to ADA curb ramps. Item C, resolution authorizing city manager to enter into lubricant and survey agreement with Otis Elevator Company. And item D, resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase a 2022 Dodge Durango vehicle for police department detective.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls? All right, Council President Starr.
I move that the city council adopt the consent calendar, items A, B, C, and D.
Second?
The consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. This takes us to other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City manager, are there any additional items that staff would like to bring forward this evening?
I don't have any, Madam Mayor and Council.
All right. Council members, anyone have other business to bring before council this evening? Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to figure out the right way to establish a budget for the 40th anniversary party.
Councilor Reed?
At our last community diversity engagement meeting, Mr. Wood had let us know that we do have a budget for that, and we are looking at $10,000 to begin with, and we will kind of monitor that as our needs arise, but that's the beginning.
Party already.
All right. And with that, with the idea that we might get some in-kind and other contributions or sponsors along the way?
Well, I know that the DJ for Friday night all their time is donated.
Okay.
So that won't cost us anymore. But if we're gonna have a party for the 70s or 80s, we need to have some kind of decorations. So
Yes, decorate.
to go with the music.
And I got rid of most stuff in my closet, so you're out of luck. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the things that did come up as a point of discussion is whether or not we were going to pay the bands and performing groups that we were inviting to perform, and it was decided at the committee that we would not do that because we didn't want to get in the business of paying some and not others, and different amounts. We just didn't want to get into that, but we did decide that passing the hat would be permissible. So that was what we had talked about.
Okay, so definitely touch base with Mr. Wood about the appropriate
It
mechanisms.
was his idea.
Oh, okay, well, there we go. Apparently that has already happened. Fantastic.
Good.
Any other information that we're going to need, or as this continues to develop? I think the recommendation would be to keep us apprised of any budgetary or sponsorship opportunities, and we can all pitch in and lean in and make calls.
It is still very much a work in progress, and so yes, we will adjust as necessary.
And there's a website for people who want to help with organizing, getting involved and so forth, is on our website, correct?
Yes, it is keizer.org/40BD is the website. And the committee had done a lot of work in terms of talking to and recruiting people, but as of that meeting, Tim had only gotten one performing group with several vendors, but it was a start, but it was encouraging to see that the committee members had been doing some legwork in terms of talking to people. So we're still working on it, but yes, we absolutely would love to have more people involved.
All right, fantastic. Spread the word. Everybody here, each one tell two. We know how it multiplies. Fantastic. Thank you. Any other business for this evening? Staff updates. Mr. Wood, or Mr. Brown?
I don't have any updates, so
Okay, Mr. Wood.
hand it up.
I just want to let everyone know that the sewer reset period at the Wood household went very well this year. We did excellent. So for the north side of town, feel free to fill up your swimming pools, hot tubs, dog dishes, whatever. The sewer reset period is officially over, so use all the water you would like. Thank you.
South Side, you got another few weeks, correct?
Everyone is done, so we are
Everybody's done.
all set, yes.
That's all right.
The entire city, drink up.
All right, that H2O, that is good stuff. All right, thank you very much. Ms. Davis?
I don't have anything, thank you.
All right, thank you. Chief Teague?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Lawyer?
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Witham?
Nothing this evening.
I've got a question. You did a presentation at the Community Diversity Engagement on the safe, on the, anyway,
Walkable mixed-use areas.
that one,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, we did.
And just wanted to hear a little bit about how that went and opportunity for people to engage.
So, you know, this is one of our kind of initial steps in, the city is under compulsion to study walkable mixed-use areas right now. So we're going through this process to study. By the end of this year, we have to submit a report to the state. And then the next year, we'll actually have to adopt some walkable mixed-use areas. The state calls them climate-friendly areas. We're calling them walkable mixed-use areas because we think that makes more sense for people to wrap their heads around. But so really, we came to the CDE committee to get some input. And honestly, we got some great input on how to approach engaging the community as we go through this adoption process. So that was kind of the purpose. We gave a not as brief as I would have liked it to have been for those that were there. I apologize, but it's complex stuff, so it's hard to go over it really fast. It gets confusing. But yeah, but it was great. We got really good input from the committee, and I was very pleased. Consultant that is helping us with our engagement plan was really excited, and so we've got some ways to move forward. I think that hopefully we'll get some meaningful engagement as we move forward with designating these areas eventually. So
Thank you. I really appreciate the work there and the plan to circle back with the community diversity engagement so they can continue to refresh and update and give input on that as well. One of the questions that came up in an email was on ADA and how that's going to interface with this work. The person who asked the question was unfortunately not able to be at the meeting.
yeah, I mean, so it is difficult. I mean, obviously ADA standards come into play when things actually get constructed. This process is more of a little bit of a broader look at really zoning and bricking out where the areas are so that as things redevelop or develop, then those standards would be kind of put into play at that point in time. It's difficult because the planning phase of it is, I don't want to say it's nothing more than drawing lines on a map, but it kind of is drawing lines on a map. And so until things actually get developed, it's hard to really see much of a change of anything. And with Keizer, as we all know, it is a challenge because we're very built out. So redevelopment kind of comes fairly slow in most of our areas.
Right.
So does that help at all?
It does. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Any other questions on that? Mr. Johnson?
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to circle back to Chief Teague, if I may. Everybody in the community has noticed and commented heavily in all social media that I even brush up against on the graffiti. Can you give us an update on kind of where we're at and maybe some directions we can go where people in the community can more quickly abate as well as report?
To be frank, I can't tell you a lot about it right now.
Okay.
I can tell you that there is a place on the website for people to lodge graffiti complaints or graffiti has occurred. And at the moment, that's about all I can say.
Okay, so if we can bump that link to the front of our website, that would be helpful, and push it out in media so people can report. And some people go, well, it happened again, I'm just tired of reporting it, and I don't. Should we keep encouraging people to get it reported?
Oh, yeah, please, absolutely, and as soon as you can.
Okay, quickly, right now, pictures?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, graffiti is what graffiti is. Without a picture, it doesn't tell us very much.
Okay. So take pictures, get them turned in, and do it as quickly as possible. Time, date, location, picture.
Sure, just answer the questions that are prompted on the website.
It's on the website. Fantastic. Thank you, really appreciate it. All right, anything else? Okay, council reports. Councilor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let's see, last week I went to Citizens Police Academy, which I have really, really enjoyed, and it's very eye-opening to just get educated in all the different categories. I am looking forward to K-9s this week. So that is fantastic. I attended the Salem Family YMCA signature event auction, which was amazing, and it was great to see all of our Keizer and Salem peeps out there. So that's great. And this week I'm looking forward to the State of the County and another Citizens Police Academy and LBA, Latino Business Alliance, Pan Dulce. So it'll be a fun week.
Fantastic. Attended the YMCA signature event. Excuse me. The chair for that event is none other than Councilor Sarita Cross, and it was absolutely epic. Congratulations. Very well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Attended.
I mean, it's true, and.
Yeah, you barely sat still the entire evening. Yeah, it was a fantastic event. Is there an estimate of how much was raised for our family YMCA?
185,000.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's going to
There's
support
still some money
many-
coming in, so it's great.
Yes. And very, very generous donors throughout the community to support our Y. Thank you very much. Councilor Duran.
Well, I was not invited to that event, so I did not go.
Oh!
But last week, my only committee was canceled, so I have not done much, so that's all I have.
If you're looking for more to do, but something tells me that work is taking care of that for you, isn't it? Trying to rebuild where nature took away. So thank you for your work there, by the way. Council President Starr, before I go too far sideways.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Had a great community dinner on the 22nd. We hosted our district attorney, Paige Clarkson, joined us as well. So, and now has that down in her calendar. So she loved it. Again, with Councilor Cross, attended the Citizens Police Academy on the 23rd. Had on March 2nd, had both the Community Diversity Engagement Committee and the Citizens Police Academy. And on March 3rd, I had the in-person simulation with the Citizens Police Academy, and that was a blast. Had so much fun. And then that night, I might have gotten an invitation to the YMCA event, maybe. So, but it was great. So, congratulations to our YMCA. Sorry, Councilor Duran.
We'll make sure it didn't get stuck in your spam filter. Councilor Kohler.
I did get an invitation, but was not able to attend.
This is going south real fast.
The Keizer Community Dinner, we served about 200 people that night, and it was, I just want a special thank you to Keizer Rotary who prepared and served the meal. I appreciate their efforts on our behalf. I worked out of town most of the rest of that week, and then I came back on the 2nd and attended the Seabell meeting. A lot of praise to Tammy and her crew for the work that they did with Kennedy. There's a ton of work that happened, and a lot of progress is being made. Appreciate that. Also on the 2nd, I attended the McNary Orchestra concert. Congrats to all those that played in the recent All-City concert, and the music students who competed and completed their this last weekend with the solo ensemble at McNary. There's a ton of work that goes into moving all those dozens of pianos to all the different rooms and making that event happen. So kudos to them. It was a great opportunity, and we even had some local winners, so that was good. The 6th, I attended the Keizer United Board meeting. Operation Encouragement is very close to coming to pass, and providing a meal to teachers during parent-teacher conferences. And it'd be up to their principals as to whether that's on the 22nd or the 23rd, but that pretty awesome event going on there. And then I was going to mention the chamber, but they already did all their stuff, so that's fine. I'm thinking that I'm missing January and early February already as I look at my calendar for the next 2 weeks. With said course State of the County, the Audit Committee, the Joint Neighborhood Association meeting. On the 10th is the longtime City Councilor Marlene Parsons' birthday. The Civic Center cleanup this Saturday, and daylight savings time on Sunday, and the work session this next Monday, and then the State of the City on the 14th, the Parks Board on the 14th, Keizer Salem Commissioners meeting on the 16th, and that'll just get us back to this meeting again. So yeah, I'm missing February and early January already. So I just looked at my calendar and went, man, I gotta go to work sometime.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's piling on, isn't it?
But what it does for me is it helps me visualize and see all the amazing people that we have in Keizer that help put everything together and make everything work. This Saturday for the Civic Center cleanup, we'll have over 100 people here cleaning everything up. And yes, we'll do that rain or shine. Bring your gloves and your rake, and we'll have wheelbarrows and all kinds of other things. Come on down, join us. We'll have a great time. I know that we'll probably see Chief Teague and Mr. Wood in the dumpster. So if you want to see him in the dumpster, come on down. But no, it'll be a lot of fun. It's just, it's just amazing to see all the moving parts that keep our city going. Thank you.
And remember, we'll have cookies. For sure. And it's also really encourage families to volunteer. We have kids as young as 7 or 8, you have to be with their parents, be supervised. But we've got some youngsters that can really work, and they can reach all those low spots too that some of us can't get down to. So there you go there too. So anyway, with that, Councilor Husband.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So on Saturday the 4th, I was at the McNary High School Gymnasium. I was attending the memorial service for my friend Phil Nelson. Phil passed away in September 2022 at the age of 34. A lot of people knew of Phil within the community as a star athlete, and he was an extraordinary one. One of the best basketball players that McNary High School has ever produced, matriculated to the University of Washington and then Portland State University to play basketball. And for those of us who got to know him, and I've known him for a couple decades of my life, just a very charismatic and energetic individual who was a big, playful, goofy 6'9" gentleman who really liked to bring a smile to people's faces. There were a couple hundred people in attendance, including his parents, and he has 2 young children as well. They were there. It was a very sad occasion, but a wonderful one at the same time for people to come together and remember him, and he did bring a number of people together. In a slightly similar vein as to basketball, congratulations to the Whitaker and Claggett Creek Middle School boys and girls basketball teams, which have gotten going. Those programs are funded, and I understand it's the first time in 30 years that Salem Keizer Public Schools has had in-school middle school basketball. So all the Salem middle schools have it, as well as Whitaker and Claggett. It's incredibly exciting stuff. Shout out to coaches Ochoa, Mr. Ochoa and Mr. Kilgro on the Whitaker boys side, Miss Ling and Mr. Mr. Gould, I believe, on the Whitaker girls side, and the Clyde Creek coaches as well. Thank you for all the work that you're doing.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you for that very heartfelt remembrance of a person who made a big difference in a short period of time. Thank you. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have a whole lot to add. I did attend the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance Executive Committee meeting, and that was always wonderful to see what's going on there. And just announcing that Keizer Homegrown Theater is opening The Odd Couple up this weekend, and it will be this weekend, and it'll go for the next 3 weekends. But that is a favorite play, and so I imagine that will be selling out pretty quickly. So please visit Keizer Homegrown Theater's website and to get tickets for that, and it will be really good.
Very much looking forward to that. And for anybody who doesn't know, Keizer Homegrown Theater is one of the 4 organizations for arts and culture that are in our cultural centers. So when you're there at the theater, also make sure you remember to go back and visit our library, our art gallery, and the museum. Is the museum open again yet? No power yet. So stand by in the museum, but the rest of it's open and operating. All right, thank you very much. Youth Councilor Sarmiento.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This past weekend, we had solo and ensemble at McNary, and we had, as Mr. Kohler mentioned, a few district winners. And then there was a concert, a McNary concert on Thursday, and on Friday, we went to the Springfield Festival, and we received 2 state qualifying scores, so we will see if we make it to state. And on March 10th, we have a blood drive from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at McNary. If you are 16 with parent permission, you can donate blood, and 17 without. And APT today at 7 p.m. had their album release party. And there is a band concert at 7 p.m. at the theater this Wednesday. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilor Husband?
Quick thing for Youth Councilor Sarmiento. Did you bring up state wrestling at all? I wanted to leave that to you because that was your purview.
We had 3 wrestling, what was it, state champions.
Wow.
This past weekend, I believe, we had Ali Martinez, and I don't remember the other 2, but Ali is the first from our district to win the state championships, and we are very proud of her.
Gwen, fantastic. Congratulations.
Most the school has ever had in state wrestling, from my understanding, 3 champions. Never had it before.
Wow, that is impressive. Congratulations. That is a huge accomplishment. Thank you. I'm just going to wrap up with a couple of things going on. Thank you to Councilor Reed for subbing for me at the Homeless Alliance Executive Committee. I couldn't clone myself, and she absolutely rocked it. So thank you very much. Other things that are going on, continued work on the Legislative Committee and with the League of Oregon Cities regarding some of the key legislation that we're working on, specifically around housing production strategies, really working to negotiate to make sure the bill that comes through is actually going to produce housing and can be built. So there's a lot of moving parts there. Attended the Network of Women Luncheon on the 1st, and that was always a very inspiring time with the women leaders in this community. This afternoon, I got a chance to tour Grace House, which is a transitional housing house in Salem for women who have left shelter and are not ready to be out on their own yet. So they're right in that space where they need to transition, work on continued skills for themselves, for workforce readiness, et cetera. It was, they are celebrating 10 years. It's at the end of this month. I think it's on the 26th. They're going to be celebrating their 10th anniversary of serving women in our community. And they've had 280 women come through with a I'm trying to remember the number exactly, 92% success rate of women transitioning from there into permanent housing and staying housed. Very, very impressive results. And it was wonderful to visit with the staff there. And the house manager was a former client, is now managing the facility, and it's just a very warm and welcoming space. Coming up, we have, we've already heard mentioned the state of the county, state of the city, We're going to be, this coming Thursday night, the State of the City conversation, talking with everybody at the neighborhood associations. It'll be a preview of the State of the City address. This coming Friday is the National Association of Women in Construction International Women's Day Dinner. And I'll be joined by Councilors Reed, Cross, and Starr for this great event. We have our title to defend. We had a lot of fun with that last year, and it's just a great celebration of women in construction and in the construction field. So very excited to be joining with women leaders from our area at that event. And I'll be at the Civic Center cleanup, have my gloves and my umbrella and whatever else we need to get this work done. The other thing I want to mention is on the 18th will be the monthly Coffee with Kathy, and we do these virtually. I used to do them in person, but we're reaching more people, and I have able to engage with fellow elected officials from the Keizer Fire District, from hopefully the school board. Bob Salazar will be able to join us. He's been working very hard on the superintendent selection process, and that has included weekends for our very hardworking school board. And the Chamber of Commerce and Pastor Dominguez from La Luz de Valle and Ramiro Navarro from Chariot. So we'll have broad-ranging conversations, and join us on Facebook or watch the broadcast later. If you have an idea for a topic, a guest speaker to join us, please let me know, and we'd like to invite them on a future edition. That's all I've got for right now. Is there anything else that we may have missed before we go to agenda input? All right, agenda input. Next Monday, we will have the long-range planning task force meeting. And this task force is made up of everybody who's on the budget committee. That includes all of you. And on March 20th, and that will start at 6 o'clock. March 20th at 7 p.m., we will meet in regular session. March 27th at 6 p.m., we will meet in a work session to do our safety training. And then on April 3rd, we will meet at 7 p.m. in regular session. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, seeing none, the time is 8:03. We are adjourned.